Hello, people of the internet, it is I, GareBear890, back again with part 3 of the Xbox 360. So, now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, the absolute best of the best, and some of my favorite games of all time. Starting us off strong, we got Test Drive Unlimited. I'm joking a little bit. It's actually a solid game. It's kind of like an open-world car racing game. And this actually came with the Xbox 360 that my brother and I bought many years ago. So this was the only game we had when we first got it, and so I remember playing a lot of it. And I actually learned about a lot of really cool cars playing this. But one quick story. So I was playing it, and I'm driving around this whole Hawaii, you're on Hawaii, so it's literally like an entire island. And you find dealerships. And so they're not all unlocked, and you don't know where they all are. Well, anyways, I stumbled across a McLaren dealership, makers of one of my favorite cars of all time, the McLaren F1. So I was freaking out, and my friend had a football, and he's tossing it in his hand. Well, it slipped through his fingers, bounced, hit the Xbox, and we hear as the disc just makes this horrible grinding noise, and then it stops. So we turn off the Xbox, turn it back on, and it's like, nope, not happening. Take out the disc, and it's just got this nice big ring around it, and yeah, the disc was dead. And my friend, he felt really bad, and he's like, shoot, dude, oh my gosh. So he calls up GameStop, do you have Test Drive Unlimited? Yes. And so we literally drove down there and got it. So yeah, anyways. I got that one for $0, both times. Okay, and then we got Unreal Tournament 3. I love Unreal Tournament. I'd play a lot of, I think it was Unreal Tournament 4, I believe. Or 2, I don't know. Doesn't matter. They're all good. But I rented this back in the day. And so then, when I saw it for $6, I was like, hey, I remember that. Okay. Ooh, okay, now this is a legit heavy hitter. Red Dead Redemption. This is a freaking cool game. You know, being a cowboy out in the West. Definitely enjoyed this one quite a bit. And let's see, this one I was able to get for $5 from a good friend of mine. Like I said in the previous videos, I had a friend that he would just beat games and he's done. And he'd just be like, hey, $5 and it's yours. Or sometimes he'd just give it to me. Usually if he didn't like the game or it made him mad, he would just be like, here, just take it, get out of here. Okay, then we got the Orange Box. The best deal in gaming history, just about. But you got Half-Life 2 and Episodes 1 and 2. Then you got Portal and TF2. But yeah, Half-Life. Not enough can be said. Let's see, Orange Box. I actually got this for free. A friend of mine, her brother was a big gamer, and he's like, hey, they have got a bunch of games at this yard sale, Matt, for $5. And so he picked it up, and she was showing me the games, but she only played Skyrim. And so I was like, man, that's cool. And so later down the road, I was wanting the Orange Box. And so I just said, hey, I know you have it, and, like, did you have interest in playing it? She's like, no, not really. I was like, okay, well, like, I would buy it from you. And she's like, no, you can just have it. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, and so speaking of Orange Box / Portal, Portal 2, took it to the next level, obviously. The humor in this is incredible. This one I got from my buddy for $35. Alright, then we got South Park, The Stick of Truth, which this is an incredible game. Like, on its own. But then you add South Park, and it's just, like, 10 times better. But I remember when I went to buy this, it was weird, because the guy at GameStop, he's like, I've heard that this is, like, the new, worst game ever made. Like, it's so dirty and outrageous. Like, he was trying to talk me out of buying it. I'm like, dude, just, come on. I'm paying you full price, $63.74. So, I want my game. That was definitely worth it. Alright, then we got Crysis 2. Phenomenal game. This was the first Crysis I played, and then a couple years back, I went through the entire series. And, I love all the Crysis games. But this one, from my buddy, $5. Alright. here's a juggernaut. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. This kind of changed everything for Call of Duty. Really made it mainstream, and for good reason. Like, this game was so cool. And just blew me away. And so I remember I grabbed this one for $15 at GameStop. And then the sequel took it to the next level. That I grabbed this one for $5. Alright, and then we got Black Ops. If you want a crazy story, Black Ops is your game. But this one was a solid one. And I got this one for free. And then we got Black Ops 2. I got for $5 from the Achievement Hunter bundle. Okay, and then speaking of crazy stories, Spec Ops: The Line. If you like Call of Duty and like Gears of War, this is right up your alley. The story in this is really what sets it apart from anything. And I thoroughly enjoyed it and thought it was really cool. But Spec Ops: The Line, I bought for $16.97. Okay, then we got Tomb Raider. So basically the reboot of the series, and man, this is incredible. I remember, like, graphically, it just blew my mind on the 360. And it still does. And I definitely grabbed the HD remaster, or just update, I should say. But anyways, grab this one on Black Friday for $15. Alright, and then we got Triple Pack. So these were originally digitally only games on the 360. Trials HD, Limbo, and Splosion Man, but I bought it for Limbo because that game is incredible and really fun, and just the atmosphere is really something you have to experience. Okay, then we got Resident Evil 5, which this, in my opinion, is a phenomenal game. A worthy follow-up to 4, and had some really cool moments that I really liked. Let's see, this one I got for $9. Alright, now this is going to be pretty, controversial, but I'm sticking with it. Resident Evil 6. I think this is a good game. It's definitely not my favorite Resident Evil game, because yes, I'll agree that it went definitely a more action route rather than horror. But it's definitely a solid co-op game to play with friends, and there's tons of content and story in this game. I remember it was on a one-day deal at Best Buy for $20, so $21 out the door. Okay, and then Bulletstorm. This one kind of came out of nowhere for me. My buddy bought it, played it, loved it, and then he was like, dude, you should play this. And I said, okay, so I bought it from him for $20. Oh boy. Assassin's Creed, the original. I remember a friend of mine got this, and he brought it over, and he showed it to a bunch of us, and we were all just like, this is the coolest game ever made. It just made you feel like a bad egg, jumping around, killing people. All stealthily, but anyways, a bit of a sad story in a way. I definitely didn't regret it back then. But once I saw it, I was like, I will do anything to get that game. And so I needed to raise $60. And I ended up trading in my original Xbox and a couple of games, not a lot, but a couple of them, to GameStop in order to get this. And, I mean, it didn't disappoint, but looking back, I'm like, never trade anything in. But live and learn. Alright, then we got Lost Planet Extreme Condition. I don't even remember how I initially got this game, like, or why I got this game, I should say. I guess it was just, it looked intriguing. And I enjoyed it, and it's pretty cool and has a unique story. The bosses are really tough as nails, though. Like, the health bar goes across the entire screen. And, so yeah. I remember, though, I got to the end boss, and he kicked my trash, and I was like, I don't think I can beat this game. And so I tried a couple more times, and finally, I just, like, got in the zone, and I think he hit me twice the entire fight, but I just dominated, and it felt really good. Ended up being one of my favorite boss fight moments, just being able to finally conquer. Alright, then we got Alan Wake, which this is a very cool game, and I like a lot of stuff that Remedy does. Cool concepts, and I was definitely drawn to this game. So I got it for $21. Alright, and then The Darkness. This is one that I kind of bought randomly. I believe GameStop was having a buy two, get one free. That's why I had 2 games I was already going to get, and I'm just looking for a third, and I couldn't find anything that I really knew too much about. And so this one I was like, yeah, looks kind of cool. And I ended up playing it and finishing the game, and I liked it quite a bit. But let's see, The Darkness I got for $15. Alright, then we got Diablo 3. Which I got on PC, and then my roommates and I in college were like wanting to play a game, and I was just like, man, I wish we could all play Diablo 3, and then they're like, hey, we're porting this, and so I actually just went to my roommates, I said, hey, listen, if you guys each pay $10, and I'll pay 30, then we get Diablo 3, and you guys can play it as much as you want, whenever you want. But when we all go our separate ways, you know, at the end of the semester, or, you know, whenever that may be, then I keep the game. And they're like, okay, sure. So, not a bad deal for me. And they seemed okay with it. Alright, then we got Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I remember renting this back in the day, and I thought it was so friggin' cool. It was like, okay, this is the Force. You know what I mean? Just picking up stuff, throwing it, and just breaking everything and everyone. And I remember, though, I got to the part where you have to bring down the Imperial Destroyer. And I don't know, I was just too stupid. I couldn't figure out what I was, like, supposed to do. Because it was like, I'd be pulling it down, and then, you know, the TIE fighters come, so you have to kill them. And I finally just gave up. And then, literally, like, over 2 years passed. And I was at my friend's house, and he had bought it. And so I just threw it in my Xbox, because I had it over at his house. And I still had my save file. And so I just loaded it up, and I was right at that part, and I beat it on the first go. And then I beat the end boss. And so I was like, what the heck's going on here? So anyways, when I saw it, I picked it up for $7. With no hesitation. Okay, and then, let's see, I think wrapping us up for this part, I was planning on a 3-part series, but there's just so many games, and especially these ones have quite a bit of history to them. And so, I'm going to wrap it up with one of my all-time favorite games, and one that just, it's so unique. I'm talking about Asura's Wrath. I love God of War. And so there was all this discussion of Kratos versus Asura. And so I was like, I gotta find out what this game's all about. And plus, the cover art is just incredible. Super cool. And so I picked this one up, actually originally on the PS3. And it plays pretty well on the PS3, but unfortunately there's quite a bit of screen tearing. And there's been no updates or anything. And so from what I read, they were saying the 360 version had a lot less screen tearing. And so when I saw this for $9, I picked it up. So $9.56 later, I had a mostly screen tearless copy. And man, it's cool. It's like playing an anime, because each section is a chapter, and it will give you like a summary of what happened in the last one, and it all connects, and it's this huge, long story. And yes, there is a bit of controversy, because the true ending to the game is locked behind DLC. So that was kind of a scummy thing to do, because they even, like, at the very end, they're like, to find out the true ending, you're gonna have to buy more game. And eventually I broke down, and I did buy the DLC. I'm not one to do that, but this was one of my favorite games. So I bought all the DLC for $15.94. And while the whole concept of it still makes me mad, I have to say the DLC itself was definitely worth it. Like, the story was cool, and like all the episodes therein were just over the top awesomeness. So yeah, anyways, we'll wrap it up there with Asura's Wrath. And I'll see you in part 4 of this incredible Xbox 360 episodes. Anyways, let me know what are your favorite games out of those that I just showed you. What are some cool pickups you had, or some awesome memories? As always, thanks for sticking around, and have a good one.